Welcome to the introduction of our mini-audiobook on game theory. This fascinating field of study, which lies at the intersection of mathematics, economics, and psychology, offers profound insights into the strategic behavior of decision makers. Game theory explores how individuals and entities, referred to as players, make decisions in situations where the outcome depends not only on their own actions, but also on the actions of others. This interdependence makes game theory a powerful tool for understanding and predicting the outcomes of strategic interactions in various areas, including economics, business, politics, and beyond. The origins of game theory can be traced back to the early 20th century, but it was the work of John von Neumann and Oskar Morgenstern in the 1940s that laid the foundational framework for the field. Their groundbreaking work introduced the concept of games, strategies, payoffs, and the idea that players could maximize their outcomes through rational decision-making. The introduction of the Nash equilibrium by mathematician John Nash further expanded the scope of game theory, providing a way to predict the outcome of games where players have no incentive to deviate from their chosen strategies. Game theory has since evolved into a comprehensive analytical framework used in various disciplines to model complex interactions. It helps in understanding how businesses set prices, how politicians craft policies to gain electoral advantage, and even how individuals make daily decisions that involve strategic thinking. By analyzing games, game theory allows us to predict the most likely outcomes of these interactions and understand the dynamics of cooperation and competition. This mini-audiobook will delve into the basic concepts, historical context, and key pioneers of game theory. It will also explore the types, applications, and significance of game theory in real-world scenarios, providing listeners with a clearer understanding of how strategic decision-making shapes the world around us. Join us as we embark on this intriguing journey into the realm of game theory, where every decision counts and the strategies we choose can determine the course of our interactions with others. Continuing from our introduction to game theory, let's dive deeper into understanding the basics of this fascinating field. Game theory explores the strategic interactions between players who are making decisions that will affect not only their own outcomes, but also the outcomes of others. In this segment, we will unravel the core concepts that form the foundation of game theory and highlight the historical contributions of its key pioneers. At the heart of game theory lie several critical concepts, the first of which is the idea of players. In the context of game theory, a player can be an individual, a business, a government, or any entity faced with making a strategic decision. Players engage in games, which are scenarios involving strategic interactions with other players. Understanding the motivations and potential actions of these players is crucial for analyzing games effectively. Another fundamental concept is strategies. A strategy is a comprehensive plan of action a player decides to take in response to the various situations that might arise within a game. Strategies take into account the potential decisions of other players, aiming to maximize the player's payoff or outcome. The payoff refers to the outcome that a player receives as a result of the chosen strategy, contingent on the strategies selected by other players. Payoffs can be represented in various forms, including monetary gains, utility, or any quantifiable benefit. The distribution of these payoffs is influenced by the combination of strategies employed by all players involved in the game. Information sets represent the information available to players at different points in the game. This concept is particularly relevant in games with a sequential component, where players make decisions at different times, and the available information can significantly influence strategy selection. Equilibrium, specifically the Nash equilibrium, is a pivotal concept in game theory. It occurs when players have chosen their strategies, and no player can benefit by unilaterally changing their strategy, given the strategies of the other players. The Nash equilibrium concept, introduced by John Nash, has profound implications in game theory, as it provides a way to predict the outcome of strategic interactions. The historical development of game theory was significantly shaped by John von Neumann, Oskar Morgenstern, and John Nash. Von Neumann and Morgenstern's work in the 1940s laid the groundwork for game theory, introducing the mathematical models that describe games and strategic interactions. John Nash's contribution, the Nash equilibrium, expanded the applicability of game theory to a broader range of strategic situations, earning him the Nobel Prize in economics. To illustrate the relevance of these concepts, consider a real-life situation where strategic decision-making is essential. Imagine negotiating a salary with a potential employer. Both you, the player, and the employer, another player, have your strategies based on the information available to you, such as your qualifications and the company's budget constraints. Your payoff is the salary and benefits package you receive. Successfully navigating this situation requires anticipating the employer's responses to your negotiation tactics, aiming to reach an outcome that neither party would regret, akin to achieving a Nash equilibrium. As we explore further into game theory, keep in mind these foundational concepts and consider how they apply to the strategic decisions you encounter in everyday life. Building on our understanding of the basics of game theory and its historical context, let's delve into the different types of games and their wide-ranging applications across various fields. Game theory's versatility allows it to model and analyze numerous strategic situations, from corporate negotiations to political campaigns. We'll also explore how game theory provides insights into competitive business strategies, including pricing wars between companies. Game theory classifies games into several categories based on their characteristics and the nature of interactions between players. One primary distinction is between cooperative and non-cooperative games. In cooperative games, players can form binding agreements and coalitions to achieve a better outcome for themselves. Non-cooperative games, on the other hand, do not allow for enforceable agreements, and each player acts independently to maximize their own payoff. Another important distinction is between zero-sum and non-zero-sum games. Zero-sum games are those in which one player's gain is exactly balanced by the losses of other players. In contrast, non-zero-sum games allow for the possibility that all players can benefit from cooperation, or that losses and gains among players do not necessarily cancel each other out. Games can also be categorized based on when players make their moves. In simultaneous games, players choose their strategies at the same time without knowledge of the other's choices. Sequential games, meanwhile, unfold in a series of steps, with players making decisions at different times, often with knowledge of previous actions. Lastly, games can be one-shot or repeated. One-shot games occur only once, while repeated games involve the same players engaging in the same game multiple times. Repeated interactions allow for the development of strategies based on the outcomes of previous rounds, which can lead to different dynamics and outcomes compared to one-shot games. The applications of game theory extend across numerous fields. In economics, it is used to model market competition and oligopoly behavior. Businesses apply game theory to develop strategies for pricing, product releases, and competitive tactics. In politics, game theory can help in understanding the strategic decisions made by parties and candidates, including campaign strategies and coalition building. One significant area where game theory offers valuable insights is in competitive business strategies, such as pricing wars between companies. By modeling the interaction between competing firms as a game, analysts can predict potential outcomes based on different pricing strategies. For instance, in a duopoly, game theory can help determine whether companies will engage in a price war, leading to lower prices, or adopt a cooperative stance, maintaining higher prices for mutual benefit. The choice of strategy can depend on various factors, including the cost structure of the companies, the elasticity of demand for their products, and the potential for new entrants into the market. Considering these diverse applications, think about how game theory applies to competitive business strategies. How might companies use game theory to navigate pricing wars or to decide on the timing of new product releases? The strategic insights offered by game theory can be a powerful tool for businesses looking to optimize their decisions in competitive environments. Continuing our exploration into the fascinating world of game theory, we now turn our attention to its practical applications through an examination of some of the most famous game theory scenarios. These include the prisoner's dilemma, the dictator game, and the volunteer's dilemma. Each of these scenarios provides insightful illustrations of the complexities inherent in decision-making and strategic interaction, offering a deeper understanding of human behavior, cooperation, and competition. The prisoner's dilemma is perhaps the most iconic example used in game theory. It involves two prisoners who are given the choice to either confess to a crime or remain silent without knowing what the other will choose. If both prisoners remain silent, they receive a lighter sentence. However, if one confesses while the other remains silent, the confessor is freed while the silent prisoner receives a heavy sentence. If both confess, they both receive a moderate sentence. Despite the mutual benefit of remaining silent, the rational decision for each, when considering their own best interest in isolation, is to confess, often leading to a worse outcome for both. The dictator game explores altruism and fairness by giving one player, the dictator, the power to divide a sum of money between themselves and another player. The second player has no influence and must accept the dictator's decision. This game tests how individuals balance self-interest with fairness and altruism, revealing much about social preferences and the willingness to share. The volunteer's dilemma, on the other hand, illustrates a situation where someone must undertake a task for the common good, but at a personal cost. If no one volunteers, everyone suffers. This scenario is used to model situations of collective action where the contribution of an individual benefits all, such as in public goods provision or emergency situations. These scenarios demonstrate how game theory sheds light on the intricacies of human decision-making. They reveal that decisions in strategic settings are influenced by the anticipation of others' actions, the conflict between collective and individual interests, and the trade-offs between cooperation and competition. In the context of the prisoner's dilemma, the common choice to confess, leading to a suboptimal outcome for both players, illustrates a fundamental aspect of human behavior, the challenge of trust and cooperation under uncertainty. When faced with the risk of a severe penalty should the other prisoner confess, each prisoner opts for the strategy that minimizes personal loss, despite the collective benefit of mutual silence. This outcome highlights the difficulty of achieving cooperative solutions in competitive environments, underscoring the importance of communication and trust in overcoming collective action problems. Through these examples, game theory proves to be an invaluable tool in understanding complex human behaviors and the dynamics of strategic interactions. It provides a framework for analyzing situations where outcomes depend on the actions of multiple decision makers, each with their own set of preferences and information. As we delve into these game scenarios, consider the implications for real-world situations, from everyday interactions to global economic policies, and the potential for game theory to inform strategic decision-making and foster cooperation in a competitive world. Building upon our exploration into the practical applications of game theory, it's crucial to address the challenges and limitations that come with applying its principles to real-world scenarios. While game theory offers valuable insights into strategic decision-making and human behavior, its foundational assumptions, such as rationality and perfect information, do not always align with the complexities of human interactions. This segment delves into these limitations, the impact of factors game theory may overlook, and the future directions in which game theory research is headed. One of the core assumptions of game theory is that players are rational actors who make decisions aimed at maximizing their utility. However, this assumption of rationality often oversimplifies the intricacies of human decision-making. In reality, individuals' choices are influenced by a myriad of factors, including emotions, cognitive biases, and social norms, which can lead to decisions that deviate from purely rational behavior. Another critical assumption in many game theory models is that of perfect information, where it's assumed that all players have complete knowledge about the game, including the payoffs and strategies available to all participants. However, in many real-life situations, information is imperfect and asymmetric, meaning that one party may have more or better information than another. This discrepancy can significantly affect the strategies chosen by players and the eventual outcomes of the game. Moreover, game theory does not always fully account for the impact of social, psychological, and cultural factors on decision-making. Human beings are not isolated decision-makers. They are influenced by their relationships, societal norms, and cultural contexts. For instance, a sense of fairness or a desire for social approval can lead individuals to make choices that game theory would consider irrational. Acknowledging these limitations does not diminish the value of game theory, but rather highlights areas for future development and refinement. One promising direction is the integration of behavioral economics and psychology into game theory models to better capture the nuances of human behavior. Researchers are also exploring ways to incorporate the effects of incomplete and asymmetric information into game theoretic analyses more effectively. Another area of focus is the development of dynamic models that can adapt to changing strategies and information over time, offering a more flexible framework for understanding strategic interactions in a rapidly changing world. Additionally, advancements in computational techniques and data analysis are opening new pathways for applying game theory to complex systems and large-scale social phenomena. In considering the limitations of game theory, especially when applied to complex human interactions, it's important to recognize that any theoretical model is a simplification of reality. The challenge lies in refining these models to better reflect the multifaceted nature of human decision-making while leveraging the powerful insights game theory provides into the strategic interplay between individuals and entities. As we continue to expand the boundaries of game theory, exploring its challenges and limitations not only deepens our understanding of strategic behavior, but also drives innovation in how we model and predict the outcomes of interactions in a complex and interconnected world. As we conclude our journey through the world of game theory, it's essential to revisit and summarize the key points covered in this mini-audiobook. Game theory, with its origins in the work of pioneers like John von Neumann, Oscar Morgenstern, and John Nash, provides a robust framework for analyzing strategic interactions where the outcome depends on the actions of multiple decision makers. Through its core concepts of players, strategies, payoffs, information sets, and equilibrium, game theory offers profound insights into the dynamics of cooperation and competition. We explored various types of games, including cooperative versus non-cooperative, zero-sum versus non-zero-sum, simultaneous versus sequential, and one-shot versus repeated game modes. These distinctions help us understand the wide range of strategic interactions encountered in economics, business, politics, and beyond. The practical applications of game theory, illustrated through scenarios like the prisoner's dilemma, the dictator game, and the volunteer's dilemma, underscore its relevance in addressing real-world challenges in decision-making processes. Despite its widespread applicability, we also acknowledge the limitations of game theory, particularly its assumptions of rationality and perfect information. The influence of social, psychological, and cultural factors on decision-making presents complex variables that traditional game theory models may not fully capture. However, these challenges open avenues for future research and development, integrating insights from behavioral economics, psychology, and computational techniques to enhance the descriptive and predictive power of game theory. The ongoing evolution of game theory reflects its adaptability and the recognition of its limitations as opportunities for growth. As researchers continue to refine its models and incorporate more nuanced understandings of human behavior, game theory remains a vital tool for analyzing strategic interactions. Its ability to evolve with the changing landscape of strategic decision-making ensures its ongoing relevance and applicability across diverse fields. In conclusion, game theory stands as a testament to the human endeavor to understand and predict the outcomes of strategic interactions. Its foundational principles, coupled with the potential for future advancements, underline the significance of game theory in navigating the complex web of choices and strategies that define our interconnected world. As we move forward, the continued exploration and application of game theory will undoubtedly yield further insights into the nature of strategic behavior, cooperation, and competition, enriching our understanding of the multifaceted dynamics at play in various domains of human activity.